Tonight, a woman and her boyfriend are behind bars after a car crash in Baytown led to a discovery. We want to warn you, the details of this case are extremely...
This has shocked me more than most of the things I've dealt with in my 22 years in the Marine Corps.
Sheriff, to do this to a child, is there some sort of mental health component to these two people, or are they just pure evil?
Well, you know, to get in the mind of somebody, I would say they're probably pure evil. But, you know, I'm sure they might have some mental issues going on, but regardless of what's going on mentally, I'm 100% confident they know the difference between right and wrong, and we're going to make sure justice is served. She's an incredible young lady to be able to encounter what she went through and be able to tell our detectives what happened. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Sheriff, do you know how?
Absolutely, it runs deep. And looking at the pictures prior to this conference, it's just, it shocks when I say it shocks the conscience, it shocks the conscience to see the magnitude of these injuries and how this little girl survived. The sheriff used the word resilience and how resilient she was. I think this little girl was fighting for her life. How she was able to maintain her life, I don't know. But from looking at the pictures, but using the sheriff's word resilience, she is very resilient. She's a strong individual, and she's going to need a lot of support from our community.
Alright, what's up with the YouTube fam? I'm back again with another video. And listen, before I move forward into this video, I want to start it off with some positivity. I want to tell all my supporters out there that's rocking with me that I do appreciate y'all, and I hope that everything is going the way that you want it to go in your life. And I'm sending y'all nothing but peace, blessings, and prosperous energy our way. And when I say this, I'm only talking to my supporters and to those who are reciprocating the same energy back to me, and to those who say the same thing back to me in return. I just want to wish y'all nothing but the best in every aspect of your life before we move forward into this video. But let's go ahead and get into it, because we got a lot to talk about. And when I say a lot, I do mean a lot. So basically, long story short, you know, I just want to send some healing energy to this young lady for the things that her parents did to her. They're not really parents. I'm just saying this so we can keep up to date. We already know that they're not real men or real women in this situation right here. And I just want to say, man, you know, it's a sad and unfortunate situation when your own children can't trust you. And to think that your own mother will let your dad do something to you and blame you for what they did is just sickening to me. But basically, long story short, this young lady has been going through a lot of things with her parents at home. The mother and the father have been literally doing everything to her. The dad actually took advantage of her, as y'all just heard me say. He actually shot, you know, her in the face, in other places. She was burned. And, you know, it was just God that was on her side, man, because the way that they were caught was because of a wreck. And it's so crazy how this happened. But like I always say, man, universal law is one hell of a thing. Cosmic karma is one hell of a thing. And y'all are going to continue hearing me saying this because it's so real. And God is real, man. This was all God, you know. I'm telling you. It wasn't meant for this child to lose her life and to be going through things that she went through. The mother actually was, you know, using rubbing alcohol to actually burn her to death. The young lady had 4th degree burns. And what's so crazy about all of this, you know, the damn dad had been taking advantage of her for months, and the other child was there witnessing most of this stuff happening. Now, when they went to the house, they said it smelled like infection. They said that it was just so many different details, man. I'm gonna leave that to the press conference. I just want to send y'all some love, man, out there. Everybody that's associated with this family, everybody that's associated with the young lady, they really had a genuine love for her. Man, I hate that this had to happen to her. And for her to actually go through everything that she's going through at such a young age is just devastating. And one of the guys in the press conference, I didn't get to watch the whole thing. I seen bits and clips of it, but one of the guys in the press conference was just basically saying that, you know, it could be mental health issues. They don't know this to be true or not, but anyway it goes, they know right from wrong. And I definitely agree with that, because I've been saying that so much. I don't put mental health to the side, but I definitely know that people do know when the hell they're doing something wrong, man. You got to stop justifying people's actions. This right here is just sick, man, in my personal opinion. What will possess you to go ahead and do something to your child like this, especially wanting her in a sexual way, especially burning her, taking shots at her and different things like that? People are sick and demonic these days, man. We already know the entities or controlling these people, but a lot of the times, man, people are allowing these type of entities control them, in my personal opinion, and I'm sticking with that. They know what the hell they be doing. You are a vessel for bullshit, in my personal opinion. But let's go ahead and get into the video. There's so many details in this right here, so we're finna go ahead and get into it, and we're gonna talk about this, and let me know your personal opinions on this whole situation. Let's go.
Tonight, a woman and her boyfriend are behind bars after a car crash in Baytown led to a gruesome discovery. We want to warn you, the details of this case are extremely. Now, according to the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office, which is in South Louisiana, Terrence Washington and LaTanya Harris have been arrested on child allegations. Investigators say on April 21st they were involved in a car crash on I-10 East in Baytown. Responding officers found a 15-year-old girl who was badly burned, shot in the face and chest, and sexually assaulted. Police confirm the teen is Harris's daughter. She was treated here in Houston. She's now back in Louisiana. In the meantime, her mother is facing charges of attempted second-degree murder, cruelty to a juvenile, and domestic abuse of a child endangerment. Her boyfriend now in jail here in Texas as he waits to be transported back to Louisiana.
Good afternoon, I'm Maura McCoy. And I'm Liz Reyes. Terrebonne Parish investigators call it a case of severe abuse and torture. They say a 15-year-old was sexually abused, burned, and shot on 2 different days. Ashland Brothers is live at the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office with the very latest.
Liz and Lauren, deputies say that a car crash outside of Houston led to the discovery of a 15-year-old badly and burned and shot twice. Now, officers say that LaTanya Harris and Terrence Washington were in the car with the 15-year-old and another child, and at the hospital it was discovered that the 15-year-old had burns and 2 wounds to her chest and face. Terrebonne deputies say before they left their home in Thibodaux for Texas, Washington had been using the 15-year-old for months. Investigators say Harris burned the girl with rubbing alcohol, and another child in the home witnessed the abuse. The sheriff's office says that happened before Mardi Gras. Deputies say in April, Washington shot the 15-year-old in the face. Her again the next day before they all left for Texas. Deputies say Harris and Washington never sought medical treatment for the teen, who is now being treated for her injuries. They say the other child who lived in the home in Thibodaux was physically unharmed. Both suspects face several charges, including attempted murder, and Washington is also accused of molestation and. Now, the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office will be holding a news conference tomorrow in Houma with an officer from Baytown, Texas. Reporting live in Terrebonne Parish.
And they dumbass trying to take care of somebody, and they slobbering slow. Just stupid as hell. Y'all can't help this young lady when she went through what she went through. She needs medical attention that she's getting now. She's currently still alive. She's getting her medical attention, and I hope that she pulls through 100%. And I hope that she is there to point out and give them exact details on everything. As of now, the dad, even though he's not a dad, we know this, he is the one who is confessing. The mom, she's probably telling certain things as well too, but overall he's confessing to certain things. And I just feel like that, you know, it's just probably tearing him up, eating him up, and it's just meant for him to go to jail for the rest of his life. There's no need for him at all, and I feel like that she should be able to go into a room and do the same thing that he did to her. You know, the eye for an eye that I keep on talking about. But yes, man, I hate that she went through this, bro. You know, they failed her in so many different ways. She's never going to be the same. This is traumatizing to the maximum extent. And then to think that, you know, this is the people that actually brought you into this world. It's just so crazy to me. It's just sickening, bro. I cannot stress this enough, that these children out here need loving and caring parents. Now, I know people are going to use this to justify other people giving up on their children and stuff like that so they won't go crazy and everything like that. But you can't give people brownie points for actually doing what they're supposed to do, in my personal opinion. And I'm standing on that. A parent should be a parent at all times. You can't just be a part-time, partial-ass parent. You need to be there 100% in all ways, shapes, forms, and fashions. You brought them into this world. Hold yourself accountable. Man up, woman up, suck it up, and do what you need to do as a man and as a woman. That's just my personal opinion on all of that. Out here being weird as hell to these kids, and all they want is some love. That shit crazy. Let's get back into it though.
Ashland Brothers, Fox 8 local
Parish investigators vow to seek justice for a heinous crime.
They gonna get them.
They say a 15-year-old was burned and shot twice.
Chris Welty is live in Terrebonne Parish where local investigators and a detective from Baytown, Texas gave more details on this case. Chris.
Liz, Lauren, investigators say it's really hard to imagine the level of violence and in this case.
This case can shock anybody's conscience.
Terrebonne Parish Sheriff Tim Soniet fights tears as he says the 15-year-old girl who was shot twice is recovering in a Houston hospital. The teen suffered 3rd and 4th degree burns to 30% of her body.
Because that victim showed resilience to be a survivor, and bottom line, from a Marine's perspective, she was a true warrior in the survival of that.
The teen was found after a car crash in Baytown, Texas. Investigators say Terrence Washington was driving his girlfriend, LaTanya Harris, the teen, and her 10-year-old sister.
Maybe that wreck was what brought this to light. Might have been a different outcome.
During an interview, Washington reportedly admitted to using the teen for numerous months. He also reportedly told police he shot the 15-year-old while arguing with Harris at their home in Thibodaux. During an interview with the Special Victims Unit, the 10-year-old said she witnessed her sister's body on fire and Harris standing over the victim with rubbing alcohol and a lighter. The sheriff says the kids were homeschooled, possibly making it harder for the to be noticed.
Anytime a child suffers at the hands of a family member or household member, it is both tragic and incomprehensible. When the very people whom a child should be able to trust for protection and love, it is a crime with long-lasting effects.
Just looking at the photos, it will turn your stomach. It will shock you.
Terrebonne Parish District Attorney Joe Waits calls this the most case in his 27 and a half years in office. He questions if a conviction will ever bring justice.
The parts of her body that she's lost, the horrific mental and physical scars that she'll endure for the rest of her life. We'll attempt to get justice, and we will put them away. Whether or not it be true justice, I'm not sure that we can do that because of the magnitude of this particular case.
The sheriff says detectives searched the suspect's trailer and found evidence of the shooting, blood, and the strong odor of infection and flesh.
And when I said what I just said, he basically said the same damn thing, that eye for an eye is real. He's saying that she really not going to get true justice no matter if we put him away or not. That's the truth. She has lost parts of herself, which is crazy. Like, your people bring you into this world just to take out certain parts of you. It's crazy to me. To do everything that they did to her is just so weird and wicked. And I definitely see some slobbering slowness in them. You can tell cuz is really, really behind. I'm talking about behind, but there's no justification. And it's people out there with mental issues who are some of the most loving, caring, and, heartfelt people. I don't give that no justification, man. People be knowing what the hell they are doing. And to have an infection smell in the house, like, come on, man. They've been in there doing the worst. And they isolated her from regular people, everyday people. They want them in there with them. That ain't what's up. This is like some heel has eyes. I think it's heels have eyes. One of them. Like, you can tell he was trying to make babies. He was trying to do other things that a so-called dad shouldn't do. You know what I mean? I feel like that she won't be getting no justice at all because she's going to be living with this in her mind forever. Like, this is not going anywhere. This is going to replay every single day. And you getting shots to the face is just, man, boy. I wish that society can get a hold to the people who do things like this, and we can take care of the situation in the best way we see fit. You feel me? I don't advocate for violence, but when you do things like this, you definitely deserve whatever comes to you in the maximum extent, in my personal opinion. Let's get back into it, though.
Sure, they might have some mental issues going on, but
look,
regardless of what's going on mentally, I'm 100% confident you know the difference between right and wrong, and we're going to make sure justice is served.
I love it.
Now, both Harris and Washington remain in custody. Harris is facing a $1 million bond here in Terrebonne Parish, while Washington remains in custody in Texas until he can be extradited back here to Terrebonne Parish. Now, the two are set to be arraigned on June 24th. Reporting live in Terrebonne Parish, Chris Welty, Fox 8, Local First.
All right, first of all, welcome to Terrebonne Parish here. Certainly under some pretty disturbing circumstances brings us here today. We are here to discuss a case that sort of culminated with work from the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office and also the Baytown Police Department investigation that sort of came to light on April 20th of this year. Since that time, our detectives have been working very closely with the Baytown Police Department to come to a resolution, and we're proud to say that we have 2 people in custody. The first you'll see is a LaTanya Harris. She is a 40-year-old female from Thibodaux, and also a Terrence Washington, who is a 41-year-old male from Thibodaux as well. So just for the sake of being clear, Ms. Harris is currently incarcerated here in Terrebonne Parish on a multitude of charges, and we will discuss those as we go on. Terrence Washington is still in custody at the Harris County Correctional Facility in Texas, and he is awaiting extradition to our area. Okay? We will have 3 speakers today, and then I'm going to take an opportunity to introduce each and every person that's here on our panel. So the first speaker will be Sheriff Tim Saunier, who is the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff. We will have Detective Haley Hammis, who is an investigator with the Baytown Police Department, and also Joe Waits Jr., who is the Terrebonne Parish District Attorney. We ask that all of your questions are held until each person has an opportunity to speak. And as we explained earlier, Detective Hammis will not be available for any type of questionings related to anything that occurred in Baytown. She will be reading an impact statement from Chief John Stringer, who regrettably could not be here today. So I'll take this opportunity to introduce our panel. First, we have Lieutenant Colonel Terry Dave, who is the Criminal Commander for the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office. We have Major Cody Wazan, who is the Chief of Detectives for the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office. Captain Mitch Lejean, who is the Assistant Chief of Detectives for the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office. Captain Cher Petrie, who is the Supervisor of our Special Victims Unit here at the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office. We have Lieutenant Jason Pellegrin, who is the Assistant Supervisor for the Special Victims Unit here at the Sheriff's Office. We have Mark Petrie, who is the Chief Investigator for the Terrebonne Parish District Attorney's Office. And we also have Dennis Elfert, who is the Chief of Staff for the Terrebonne Parish District Attorney's Office. Okay. At this time, I'm going to turn this over to Sheriff Tim Saunier.
All right, thank y'all for being here. First of all, I got 3 words to say. My prayers go out to the victim. And there's 3 words. I'm going to talk about resilience, because that victim showed resilience to be a survivor. And bottom line, from a Marine's perspective, she was a true warrior in the survival of that. So I'll continue to pray for that young lady and her recovery. So I'll kind of go over the facts. It's a 15-year-old female victim, and we're obviously not going to release her name. The 2 suspects were LaTanya Ann Harris, 40 years old, of Thibodaux, and Terrence Washington, 41 years of Thibodaux. This was a tough one. It's a real tough one. But we have Baytown, we have a representative for Baytown Police Department. We thank you from the bottom of our heart. It's a tough one. And my detectives, thank you. Thank you. Because we're going to make sure justice is served for that victim. To give you some more facts, on April 21st, 2024, approximately 8:30, Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office was notified by DCFS of an case that is being investigated by Baytown Police Department. The vehicle was discovered as a result of a traffic crash investigated which occurred on I-10 East in Baytown, Texas. When Baytown officers arrived on the scene, they located a driver armed with a handgun who was taken into custody by Baytown Police Department. Baytown PD located 2 adults and 2 juveniles in the vehicle. The adult driver was identified as Terrence Washington. Adult from the front passenger was identified as LaTanya Harris, along with a 10-year-old and a 15-year-old female passengers. The 15-year-old female was found to be suffering from large-scale to the majority of her upper body and multiple wounds. She was transported to a local hospital in a home in Houston, Texas area. Through the investigation, detectives learned that mid-February 2024, the juvenile female was after LaTanya Harris had learned of sexual assault committed on the juvenile by her fiance, Terrence Washington. Harris, juvenile with flammable liquid and a lighter at the Thibodaux residence in Terrebonne.
Damn mama. Supposed to be. Just sad and beautiful. Low life, weirdo.
It was later determined that the victim received 3rd and 4th degree over 30% of her body. Since the intentional in mid-February, Harris and Washington both denied medical treatment to the juvenile. In the weeks leading to April 21st, a wreck Terrence Washington shot juvenile on 2 separate days within the residence. Washington and Harrison placed the 2 juveniles in a vehicle where they drove to Texas and crashed while Washington was driving recklessly.
And what number guy?
The juvenile was found with life-threatening injuries and being treated for shots and injuries by multiple hospitals in the Houston, Texas area. Latanya was arrested for 1 count of attempted first-degree murder, 1 count of second-degree juveniles to a juvenile, and 1 count of domestic battery on a child. Harris is currently being held in Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's for a $1 million bond. Terrence Washington is being held in Harris County, Texas, without bond on multiple criminal charges that occurred in Texas.
Me personally, I don't feel like nobody should get no bond at all. They don't need no type of leniency, no type of nothing. They need to be strictly in the dungeon. They need to go straight to hell, in my personal opinion, man, up under the jail. There's no way in the hell they should have an opportunity back at life with a mother. Anyway, well, she's not even a damn mama. The damn carrier, hell, whatever you want to call her. I just don't rock with this at all. It's just so sickening, bro. I keep on saying it. It's just so crazy that people keep on doing these type of things to the kids. And like I said before, people are going to try to use this to justify other situations, and this is not that. These people wanted the child, and they were there, and they just wanted to do what they wanted to do to her. But to blame your kid for what your so-called fiance is doing and things like that, that is crazy to me. How can you sit there and let somebody do anything that you don't want done to your kids? It's obvious that you wanted this done. You was liking this. You was getting some type of something out of this. No matter if it was some type of lascivious, lustful thoughts, like shit that you like it's just something that you was getting out of this. It just wasn't no way in here you was just allowing this to happen, and you didn't want this to happen, you know. Now I know people are in certain situations where they're dealing with people and they are scared, and they do allow certain things because they are scared. But when it comes to my kid, my child, my flesh and my blood, we going all the way out. I don't give a damn what gotta take place, what happens, who die, whatever. I don't give a damn. We gonna take it there. And that's how I feel like she should have been. But everybody ain't parents in this day and age. Everybody ain't a man. Everybody ain't a woman. Some people are literally demonic entities in human form. Let's get back into it, though.
Warrants have been obtained in Terrebonne Parish for 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder, 1 count of second-degree juvenile, and 1 count of molestation of a juvenile, 1 count of obstruction of justice, 3 counts of behavior with a juvenile, and 5 counts of second-degree. Washington is also being held without bond. This case can shock anybody's conscience. But one thing I vow, we're going to work very hard with the district attorney, and we're going to find justice for that victim. She deserves that, and I promise you I won't sleep till we know that young lady gets the justice she deserves. And again, I want to thank my detectives, Baytown Police. They did a phenomenal job on their part, and that's why they're here today. I stand with them as they stand with us to make sure we get that victim the justice she deserves. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Detective Haley Hammis with the Baytown Police Department. I'm going to be reading a statement from the Baytown Police Chief, John Stringer, who could not be here today. Anytime a child suffers at the hands of a family member or household member, it is both tragic and incomprehensible. When the very people whom a child should be able to trust for protection and love, it is a crime with long-lasting effects. Upon learning of this case, I was extremely impressed with the actions that our patrol officers took, yet grieved and horrified at the description of injuries a minor suffered at the hands of a household member. I am profoundly proud of the extraordinary work our detectives have done to bring the violent and reckless offenders to justice. Their relentless dedication and commitment to protecting our community are truly commendable, especially in the face of a heinous crime. The severe of a 15-year-old girl by members of our own family is a horrific act that has shaken us all. Our officers and detectives' swift and decisive action in this case highlights their resolve to keep Baytown safe for everyone. The level of care, compassion, and professionalism demonstrated at all levels has been extraordinary. We are deeply grateful to our partners at the Terrebonne Sheriff's Office for their critical collaboration in rescuing this juvenile and ensuring her safety. We are committed to assisting them through the prosecution phase of this investigation. Together, we have demonstrated the power of partnership and the importance of justice in the face of unimaginable. The Baytown Police Department has made it clear that we are committed to providing equitable justice to all people and that crimes will not be tolerated in our city. Assisting in bringing these suspects to justice is just one small step in restoring some control to the victim. We wish both physical and psychological healing for the victim of this horrific. Thank you.
Thank y'all for being here. I'm Joe Waits Jr., District Attorney for Terrebonne Parish. Along with me, Dennis Elford and Mark Petrie, my Chief Prosecutor and my Chief Investigator. First of all, I wanted to say congratulations to both law enforcement agencies who've done an excellent job in this case in bringing the most one of the most cases to an investigation conclusion that I've ever seen. Congratulations, Baytown and the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office. You did an excellent job. The second is to reach out to the family of our victim. Like I said, this is probably one of the most cases I've seen and prosecuted in my 27 and a half years as district attorney. Sheriff Sonia has touched on the issue of justice, getting justice for this family. I feel confident as we stand here that we will get convictions and put these terrible people in jail for a long, long time, hopefully for the rest of their lives. These are bad people for what they've done to a very young girl. But the key word is justice. Will we ever get justice for this person? I don't think that we can, given the putting him away, but still getting justice for this little girl, what she's been through, the parts of her body that she's lost, the mental and physical scars that she'll endure for the rest of her life. We will see this case to a conclusion, and like the sheriff said, we will attempt to get justice, and we will put him away. Whether or not it be true justice, I'm not sure that we can do that because of the magnitude of this particular case. It's horrific. It's horrific. Just looking at the photos, it will turn your stomach. It will shock you as the magnitude of this case that we're dealing with. So once again, I feel confident that we will get convictions in this case. Arraignment has been set for June the 24th. At which point we will be setting trial dates. There's no trial dates set, but the first appearance will be the arraignment. And so after that, we will try to put this case on a fast track to get it resolved for the health and well-being of our victim. It's very important that we get it over and done with to bring her some sort of closure. Is there true closure here? I don't know that there can be. I don't know that there can be. But we'll be there to support her every step of the way and do our very best to give her the emotional support that she deserves and that she needs. Once again, I thank Baytown Police Department and Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office for the awesome investigation that they put together. I feel proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with these guys. They're first class in a class act, so thank you all very much.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions at this time. Yes, Mark?
Sheriff, I can't wrap my thoughts and my feelings. I'm trying to figure out the word why. I can see where the man may have panicked and did some things, but I can't wrap myself around how the mother could be involved in this. As a sheriff, have you ever been around this type of case?
This is a conscience shocker. And I said it before, it's like trying to wrap your head around anybody can do anything to anyone like that. But it's a conscience shocker, especially when it's a family member, a mother. So is it a conscience shocker? You know, I served 22 years in the Marine Corps and seen a lot of things, and this has shocked me more than most of the things I've dealt with in my 22 years in the Marine Corps. So.
How is the 15-year-old doing today?
Well, we're making sure she has emotional support. Our detectives, we're there. She needs us, we're there. She needs any one of us, we're going to be there through every step of the way.
And you mentioned that the teenager is now living with a family member?
No, she's not.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay, so she's still in the
That's
hospital right now?
She's still in Texas.
And just when it comes to the 10-year-old, was that her sibling?
Yes,
a male or female sibling?
there was 2 females.
Okay.
This went on for months. Did this 15-year-old, 10-year-old, were they in school? Were they withheld from going to school?
Homeschooled.
How did this go unaware for so long?
They were homeschooled.
Homeschooled.
By any chance, Sheriff, I know we talked about this started around Mardi Gras time, but is there an estimate time? Was this happening before Mardi Gras time, or is that when it actually heightened?
There was prior, but February timeframe was when the burning occurred.
Sheriff, to do this to a child, is there some sort of mental health component to these 2 people, or are they just pure evil?
Well, you know, to get in the mind of somebody, I would say they're probably pure evil. But, you know, I'm sure they might have some mental issues going on, but regardless of what's going on mentally, I'm 100% confident they know the difference between right and wrong, and we're going to make sure justice is served.
Sheriff, you had mentioned that she was shot twice. Can you tell us where she was shot first? Because I'm thinking if she was shot in Terrebonne and they drove all the way to Houston.
It occurred here, that from the investigation, she was shot once in the chest and once in the head.
And on 2 separate days?
2 separate days.
No medical attention?
None.
Did the victim mention when she was first sexually assaulted, like how long that had been happening?
Well, I'm going to say this based off of my investigators. You know, I was able to get a lot of briefs. What I'm going to tell you is about resilience, and another word I didn't mention is called presence of mind. She's an incredible young lady to be able to encounter what she went through and be able to tell our detectives what happened. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Sheriff, do you know how long between the period of the first to the second that this young woman was
Within a day or 2.
Was Washington biologically related to the victim or the 10-year-old child?
It's a mother.
What about Terrence Washington? Father?
Stepdad or step-boyfriend or...
Not biologically related to
No.
either child?
Do we know how long they have been together, and then also if the
That, I don't know how long they've been a couple.
Do we know if the 10-year-old has been abused by the couple?
Well, we're still investigating a lot on this case, so to answer that question, I can't, but we're still investigating.
In the report, you said that the mother, she just wouldn't talk. What did that say to you, Sheriff, that she wouldn't even answer any of your questions?
Well, you know, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, but I mean, like I said, the confidence, and look, what Baytown was able to find out, what our investigators were able to do, we brought it to here today. So.
Do you know her condition in the hospital in Texas?
What's that?
What's her condition in the hospital in Texas?
I would say stable.
Do you believe if Washington was never involved in this wreck, that this 15-year-old would be dead?
Well, I'm not going to speculate, but I can probably, you know, under the circumstance, you know, sometimes maybe that wreck was what brought this to light. Might have been a different outcome.
Can I ask Mr. Waits a question?
Sure can.
Joe, y'all have got 3 cases going on right now, the Ezekiel Harry case, the Esco case, and this case. Since you've been DA, have you ever seen that many cases at one stretch of time in your DA's career?
No, in 27 and a half years, no, Martin, we have not. It's just, it seems like the cases are rising to a whole new level of violence, and that's shocking to the conscience. As the sheriff was saying, it's just, it's hard to understand how a mother can allow something like this to happen to a child. It's just, you know, there's so many families that willing to take in, adopt, to bring in kids, and here we're going to a mother's going to allow this to happen to her child. It brings all kind of questions into the mind, but yeah, it goes to, I guess it goes to the why that you were asking a moment ago. But to be honest with you, I don't have all the investigation is still ongoing, and I will wait for the rest of the reports to generate a further opinion.
How mentally tough is it to prosecute cases like this? Seeing the pictures and everything, I'm sure the emotion runs pretty deep.
Absolutely, it runs deep. And looking at the pictures prior to this conference, it's just, it shocks when I say it shocks the conscience, it shocks the conscience to see the magnitude of these injuries and how this little girl survived. The sheriff used the word resilience and how resilient she was. I think this little girl was fighting for her life. How she was able to maintain her life, I don't know. But from looking at the pictures, but using the sheriff's word resilience, she is very resilient. She's a strong individual, and she's going to need a lot of support from our community.
What type of charges could the two be facing? I would imagine because a death did not occur, the death penalty is off the table.
Right now, the most significant, there's a slew of charges. The most significant is attempted first-degree multiple charges, multiple counts on him and on her. So there are other charges. After we get the case, we will screen it and make that prosecutorial decision. But right now, the most serious one is the attempted first-degree assault.
And do we know when Mr. Washington will be extradited back to Louisiana?
I don't know, but we hope it's soon. The first arraignment, like I said, is set for, I think both of them are set for June the 24th. June the 24th, and we're hoping that is before then, but there's things we have to resolve legally through Baytown, and then we will go from there.
And he's being held without bond in Texas, is that correct?
That's my understanding.
This may be a question for the sheriff, but were there any ties to Baytown? I know this may, be a Baytown question we can't answer. Were they just passing through Baytown's, right, I-10? It stated I-10 East. Were they coming back home? Were they?
Well, they were going eastbound on I-10. So, was there any ties to Baytown? Well, what I'm going to say is police work. There's nothing routine about police work. Officers responding to an accident or careless operation or reckless driver. Sometimes what you get on the other end, you just don't know. So and I said it from the academy for many years, there's nothing routine about what law enforcement officers go through every day. And that's why I can stand here and say I'm the biggest fan of law enforcement. No doubt. Because what our guys do, I stand behind them 100%. And I'm truly blessed with a good team. And truly blessed to be surrounded by other officers that try to serve causes higher than themselves.
And you all said that their first appearance will be an arraignment, and that'll take place on June 24th?
Yes.
Where will it take place? Do we know?
Division C, Judge Juan Pickett courtroom, Division C.
Sheriff, do you know if these two, they were definitely fleeing the parish, and that's why they were caught in Texas? They were fleeing because of this?
They weren't fleeing, they were going to Texas.
Oh, so they were just passing through?
Yes. And it was from good investigative skills from Baytown that they were able to figure out where the crimes actually occurred, and that's when we were notified and through DCFS, and we were able to take action pretty rapidly.
And it was Washington that 15-year-old both times?
Yes.
And the gun that Washington had in the vehicle, was that the one used to shoot the 15-year-old?
Well, once the investigation is thorough and we can confirm that, then we'll know that answer.
At this time, anyone else potentially going to be facing charges in this case?
Well, the investigation's still ongoing, and if there was anybody else involved and we find out, we're going to make sure that justice is served.
I got a similar question. It's kind of hard to believe that a 15-year-old and a 10-year-old homeschool would still, especially living kind of on that cusp of Terrebonne, Lafourche parishes, that nobody noticed something. Surely, any other family members.
It was nothing. It caught us by surprise like anybody else.
Have Harris or Washington faced any type of criminal charges in the past? Do they have a history?
I didn't look into their history. I know our detectives have looked into that, but I mean, we're talking about the current, what we're dealing with now.
Do you know if DCFS was ever contacted on them before?
Now, I can't confirm any of that.
Sheriff, I've been knowing you for a long time, and I see the emotion in you on this case. So obviously, when Joe alluded to seeing the pictures and different things, is that the father coming out in you when you see something like this that sort of separates you as a law enforcement person?
Grandfather, yeah. I have children. I have grandchildren. And I know I'd protect them with my whole life. And for somebody to do that to their child, just can't even put it to words or understand.
All right, man, that's the end of that video, and I love the fact that they are saying what they are saying. You know, they are really some stand-up dudes, in my personal opinion. I really love that they are handling this, because a lot of people are getting away with so much these days, and it's just very, very sad that they are getting away with it. But overall, ultimately, I'm glad she's getting some type of justice, even though it's not the correct type of justice, in my personal opinion. We can accept what we can accept. We're going to have to, you know, but it is what it is. It's really, really some unacceptable behavior that took place in this situation, some past trauma that they probably was going through. Whatever the case may be, I don't give a damn. There's no excuse for it. You got to be a man and a woman at all times when you, I said a man and a woman, you got to be a man or a woman when it's time for you to be a man or a woman. And I feel like that's supposed to happen as soon as you are an adult, in my personal opinion. You are a man and you are a woman when you are of age, or when you are an adult. And especially when you got kids, that's when you're supposed to be exceptional in every way, shape, form, and fashion. But overall, ultimately, I want to know your thoughts and opinions on this situation. I hope that she can run across this video and get some good love and good positive energy and vibes from it. And I hope that it's a lot of encouraging messages in the comment section as well, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to have something to say. Send a young lady some love if you don't mind. And yeah, I will holler at y'all later on another video. If you made it to the end, I definitely appreciate you more than others. I'll holler at you later though. All right.